All right, fellas. We hear this a lot. And women want us to actually open up to them, share our feelings when we're stressed or whatever the case is. Me personally, I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to it at all. Why? Because as a man, I am the leader. And as the leader, I don't open up to those who I'm leading. I know people say, oh, you need to show some type of vulnerability. Well, first of all, as a man, any issues that I do have, I discuss them internally. I discuss them internally first. That's the first thing I do. So, once I start discussing my issues out internally, then I started notating and addressing what things are this. Then after that, I take it to another man who is more seasoned than me, or at least on the same plane as me. And then once I start talking that out, then it's okay. Let me hear what he has to say. Then I'll turn around and say, okay. Then I'll say a few things that I'm aware of. And then it's like it's ping-ponging. So I'm taking in what he's saying, and I'm saying also what I'm saying. Because what I found to work very well for me personally, this is what works for me. It's easy to address my own issues because as a man, I understand my position. So it's only right for me to speak to another man in regards to what's going on. Like, there are certain things that I don't even need to really talk to another man for. I really just talk to myself. Why? Because I understand me. I know me. No one knows you better than yourself. So if you don't talk to yourself unbiased and understanding that, okay, this is my issues here, I have these issues here, you cannot have any type of conversation with anyone because you're not open enough with your own self to admit that you did something wrong. Like the first thing I'll do is, yeah, I screwed that up. Most people are like, oh, you shouldn't say stupid. I don't call anyone really stupid but me. Because if I know that someone's stupid, I did it. I know who I am. I will call myself stupid in a heartbeat. Oh, that was dumb. Yeah, I did that. Oh, that was dumb. What the heck was I thinking? I will bash me to the fullest. Because I know. I have no problem with saying that about me. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Well, if I know what I did that was stupid, it was stupid. Well, I know not to do that again. I realized, yeah, I screwed that up there. I ain't gonna do that again. Oh, I learned from that one. Oh, okay, cool. This is something I know. So I think I might have did a video in regards to something similar to this. But it was on a different plane about more likely my piece. But this is why my piece is so great. Because I have these type of conversations with myself. Like as if I was talking to someone else. If I would talk I'm like, oh, third person. Yes, whatever. It doesn't bother me. Like, oh, you crazy. Well, if that's what you want to think, okay, fine. I guarantee you my piece is better than yours. that I know. I'm not finna be up in arms about something that already transpired that I couldn't change. So me being stressed out, me being disgusted and suffering, there is no suffering in silence. Why am I? You're suffering. Anything that's suffering is something that's not being attended to. If you don't attend to a wound, it's gonna continue to cause you pain. And when it continuously causes you pain, you're suffering from it. So, if you're suffering in silence, you're not dealing with the issue. You're not dealing with yourself. You have to deal with yourself. This is something I do on a daily basis. I'll process things and conversations that I already have with my son. And I'll do that with others as well I've had a conversation with, especially those who mean something. And even those who don't mean something. Did I handle that right? No, I screwed that up. I probably shouldn't have said that. And which has gotten me to the point that I am now. I say less to people because I think, okay, there is something. As much as I can say something that be the truth, in my young years, it was like I didn't have too much tact. I said whatever and I didn't really care. But now that I get older, it's like, do I really want to say that? Even though it is the truth, do I really want to say that? Because if I say that, it's what I say all the time. For every action, there's a reaction. So whatever I say, which is an action, it may cause a reaction. Do I really want to deal with that? No. No, I don't. So I deal with me first. I talk to me first. I don't need to talk to her, my woman, about some things that I'm going through. Because number one, I understand life happens. It's nothing to really get upset about. Nothing to get all out of character about. Nothing to be down about. That's just how it is. And when you start to understand this, that you need to talk to you first. When you talk to you first, then the next person you talk to, you start to understand all that animosity and anger don't come out. Because you're dealing with it. And when you deal with things that transpire in your life constantly, you're less angry. You're not as angry. You're not as upset as you would be if you don't address your own issues or talk to yourself about what's going on in your life. If you can't talk to yourself, you can't talk to someone else. Because whoever it is you talk to, they don't know you. And if you're telling them certain things, I'm pretty sure, if you ain't having no conversation with yourself, you're going to leave out details. I don't leave out any details with my own self when I'm discussing things or evaluating things that has already transpired. Why? Because in order for me to be perfect, mature, and better, I have to address everything. I have to deal with everything. This is necessary. So you don't have to go run into your woman and say, oh this is just such. This such. No, as a leader, you're the one to provide stability. How do you provide stability? By stabilizing your own self. You have to stabilize your own self first. You can't stabilize anything around you if you are not stabilized. If you're not secure, how can you secure anything else? And if you're not secure, that means you can't provide the adequate protection. That means you're going to be deficient. And if you're deficient, that means she then becomes deficient because your spirit rubs off on her. So now she's in a funk or in a mood because you don't deal with yourself. You have to deal with yourself. It is paramount that you deal with yourself. We live in a society today where everyone wants to say, well, you need to see a therapist. Therapy yourself. You can therapy yourself. You can speak to yourself and tell yourself all of these things that you're doing. Even the things that you have to admit what it is you're doing. It is necessary that you admit the things that you do. And with certain things being said nowadays, like, oh, he's a narcissist, or oh, misogynist, and all this other stuff, people throwing these words out. Self-evaluation. Self-evaluation. Do a self-evaluation. If you're not doing a self-evaluation, you're not helping anybody around you. And you're definitely not going to be an effective leader. So, you have to do this. What I'm saying now, you have to address your issues. You have to address if you can remember every single thing that transpires, you should be addressing it. You shouldn't just be sweeping it on the rug. You know, people like, oh, that was in the past. I don't want, you don't want to deal with it. No, deal with it. Because that what you don't deal with, you'll forget about it. And that'll be the very thing that's still laying there, doormat, as I use in the one video with the cactus. You're touching it. And you don't want, no, it's there and you don't want to touch it because it hurts. You have to deal with issues when that come along. And if you're just talking to her about it, you're not dealing with it 100%. You don't need touch. You're giving her the Cliff Notes. And women are emotional creatures. If you give her Cliff Note version, she's not probably going to take that too well. Or you be so, oh, she just threw it back up in my face, because you should have dealt with it on your own. You technically should have dealt with that issue on your own. It was what you did. It's something you responded to. Even if it had something to do with her, you should have talked with yourself first before you actually talk with her. Because if you're not talking to yourself first, you're not going to process everything that you may, well, if you don't talk to her first, you're going to say stuff that you didn't process already. And it was capable of evaluating. So whatever it is you say, you may be saying it for the first time and it shouldn't be something you said. Now you got a bigger mess on your hands. Like I had an instance with my son's mother. And because I was listening and evaluating, because I know me and I know her, I didn't say certain things that I could say. Because the first thing come to my mind is okay, if I say this, I'm responsible for what I say. I'm leading this. Even though she may not think I'm leading this, even though we're not together, I'm still leading this. Why? Because we share a child together. So I have to be in control of me. So if you're suffering, you're not in control of yourself. So in that whole time, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be in control of me, because I want her to have a right outcome with our child. That's number one priority. So how do I get this? Oh, okay, I say this, this, and this. Well, no, I can't say this because then this may trigger such and such. So I say this, this, and this. And what did it lead to? The right outcome. Why? Because I was in control of myself, saying, okay, I know I can't say this because I know this will trigger. And it would not be in the best interest of me, her, and the child that we share together, that we created together. So if you're not in control of yourself, you're not going to have good outcomes. It's really, man, it's really that simple, man. It's really that simple. In order to have good outcomes, you have to be in control of you. You, and you. No one else should be pushing your buttons. No one else should be controlling you. If someone does something and you turn around and respond back, you're not in control. Therefore, you're going to be suffering. You're suffering, whether you realize it or not. If someone can control you and your emotions and how you respond, they control you, and you, in the long run, are suffering. Why are you suffering? Because you're not being your best self. Someone else is being yourself. And they don't even know how to be you proficiently. Therefore, they're creating problems. Get in control of your own self. Control you. Understand you. Process for you to be better. This is necessary. And if you're not doing this, you're doing an injustice to everyone around you. Everyone around you. When I was a boy, I did boyish things. When I became a man, I did man things. Which means I had to mature. You have to mature. You have to deal with yourself. No one can deal with you. Because even when they ask, after you tell them everything, they ask you all these questions, whether it's therapist or whoever, counseling or whichever type. After they ask you all these things, you are still left with you. There's no one else there that's going to deal with you when you're sitting there by yourself, wherever it is, if you're laying in your bed, whatever it is where you are, what are you doing? You still have to deal with you. You have to be honest with yourself. And you have to ask yourself, can you be honest with yourself? If you haven't gotten to the point to where where you're like me, where you can say any and everything and it doesn't bother you, then maybe you need to take that point and start shedding tears, crying, and do whatever it is that you need to do by yourself, releasing all that stuff, and letting it just flow out. If you're not there, you gotta take the baby steps. Process of time. Where I am in my life took time to get here. It took time to turn around and say, no, I don't need to respond to that. I'll close my mouth. I'll shut up. It's not worth my time to say anything. Okay. Oh, I seen that before. Nope. Oh, I seen that before. Yeah. When you're in control of yourself, you become a better person. And things just does not bother you. In which you can do what I say. Fix your face, fix your spirit. This is why I say that. Because I've learned in the course of years to fix my face and to fix my spirit. Oh, they did that. Okay. Sure. Oh, man, it's not going to bother my spirit. I'm in control of my spirit. That's why I say fix your spirit. That means control your spirit. Temper yourself. Humble yourself. Be passive. Be slow to speak. Not quick to move. And you will start seeing things unfold right in front of you. Which is why I say let time take its course. Time is a revealer of all things. It's going to show you. So, be open to yourself. Yeah, this is going longer than what I wanted to go. Unfortunately. But hopefully, there are things in there I said that may help you. Most above all, I do hope that you become better people out here. And that you make progress. And like I just said already, fix your face, fix your spirit. Scale the fish, spit out the bones. Blessings to you. Much love. Peace. And above all, be better.